Anybody see that Sixers game? If you did, or if you didn't, I'm probably going to be talking about it on Comic Book Canon. That's right, that's right, that's right. What a win for the Sixers. Up, or actually, it's tied 2-2. A little nerve-wracking. They were up by 16 points, and it went to overtime, but they got the job done. Going to hit up the Celtics in Tuesday, so that's 2 days of rest. But we're not here to talk about sports. We're here, we're Comic Book Canon, and we talk about everything related to comics. And I got to bring in my good friend, co-host, and partner on a partner in crime. I almost said partner of a crime. We haven't done a crime yet, but maybe tonight. You know, the night's still young. Joseph!
What's up, Jeff? How you doing, man?
Joe, I'm over here, buddy.
Oh, sorry about that. Woo!
What happened?
I don't, you know what? I think I was just a little discombobulated. I spent a lot of time in the sun today out for a golf tournament. I think that might have been it. I thought you were over there. I see you now. Okay, we're
mini golf tournament. Did you win?
I got second place. I won last year. I started off strong, went into the day just 2 points behind the first place person. And I was not able to overcome him today. He actually just extended his lead throughout the day. So
heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. I got to acknowledge some comments here because we said we haven't really actually committed a crime, but
not yet.
Creating Jim, aka Bronzeville, creating Chet may have been a crime. Supreme Love, you guys created Chet. Isn't that crime enough?
Oh, wow.
So good point. Good point. Point well taken. And what's up, Goonish Lurker? I hit you by accident, but why not? You know, it's great. It was a good free comic book. Anyway, we're gonna get into all that soon, everybody. Great to see so many of you fine people in the audience today. We're gonna have a great show. It's gonna be a blast. Christopher won't join us live, but he'll be here. He will be here. All right. With that being said, we're just going to jump right into a slow news week, but we always hit the news, so we're just going to do it. Let's go for it. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, so we got a couple pieces of news, one on the Marvel side, one on the DC side. First of all, Rob Delaney is back as Peter in Deadpool 3. He officially joins the Deadpool 3 cast, reprising his role as Peter, a New Balance wearing average Joe who somehow earned his way onto the X-Force team in the second installment of the soon-to-be trilogy, despite a lack of any mutant powers. Even sans powers, he quickly became a fan favorite due to the comedic relief of the character that he added to the film, which we will be sure to see next November when Deadpool 3 hits theaters. So still over a year away, but I know we're all excited for it. In addition to Delaney, Karan Soni, Leslie Ugams, and Morena Baccarin all return as supporting characters. That is, his driver, his roommate, his love interest, and I'm going to probably butcher this name, Stefan Kapachik.
You did a fantastic job.
I did a fantastic job. Stefan Kapachik will be returning as the Mighty Mutant Colossus. I really like that portrayal of the character.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Deadpool 2. So I'm very happy about that. It is, obviously CGI'd character, but Stefan does the voice. And yeah, I mean, Deadpool 3. We know the cast is being fleshed out by none other than the Wolverine himself, Hugh Jackman.
It's gonna be fun.
How you feeling about that?
I'm super psyched about that, even though he kind of closed that swan song with Logan, apparently. But I'm glad he's back. You know, maybe Patrick Stewart will be back as Professor X. We'll see. It's literally, this movie is probably going to take it to the next level. Now that they're in the MCU with the witty kind of crazy approach they have to Deadpool, which, follows along the comic books, breaking the fourth wall, etc. I'm super excited, but I really love Peter Delaney. This guy, everything he does, he's great. He's great at everything that he does. He has a great series on Amazon, and I cannot remember the damn name, but
one word, and I forget what it is.
It's so good, and we'll hopefully get that back to you. All right, moving on. Next up, what do we got? Another news story.
We're going from Marvel over to DC. and we're talking about the legendary Jim Lee. Comic book creator Jim Lee has inched his way even higher up on the ladder at DC. He made a debut in the comic industry in the mid-'80s with Marvel Comics. He was there through the early 90s and actually set the record for the highest sold single issue of comics ever with X-Men #1 from I believe that was 91. And, you know, a book that is in literally every 90s collection. And he was with Marvel until 92, when him and 6 others branched off to form Image Comics. As we know, Lee created a lot of characters, a lot of teams and stuff. Most notably, initially Wildcats, and then he ended up working with DC starting in 1999. Since then, he has given us amazing art, incredible characters, and he was really a driving force of the 2 kind of soft reboots, or I could even call them hard reboots, that DC did. New 52 in 2011, and a few years later the Rebirth era. And not only that, but he worked his way up to the publisher level, and then has recently been promoted all the way up to president and CCO of DC Comics. And with the emergence of this new DC film universe that we're getting, Lee will definitely be at the helm, tasked with complementing those big screen adaptions with equally as compelling comics to push the brand into the future, because that's how a lot of people are getting into comics nowadays. They're going to see these movies, they're enjoying these movies, and they're wanting to learn more about this universe, more about these characters, and they're going to the comic store, and if they pick up something off the shelf and they don't like it, it's going to leave a sour taste in their mouth. Maybe they won't buy more comics in the future. If they find something good, find something they like, it definitely helps move the brand as a whole and the comic industry. So definitely something that we should be rooting for.
No doubt. Listen, I love me some Jim Lee. I mean, I loved him in the early days, in the 90s, with Marvel. I loved him when he broke off to Image. I love the things that he's done with DC. Yeah. I think this is great. He's a very creative guy. I'm going to be blatantly honest. I have no idea what his title is or what he does. I mean, what he does with that title. Like, I know he does a few covers here and there. I'm sure he has creative input and everything. Mm-hmm. He's a great person to have creative input, but I don't know what that title. What's the title again? It is. Yeah,
he was publisher, and he's still remaining in the publisher role. He's given the title
Chief Creative Officer,
President and Chief Creative Officer at this point.
Okay.
As well. I mean, he's basically all the creators' boss. I have a friend who is she's an editor at DC, and Jim Lee is her boss, which is
that's pretty
super cool, right?
We should get her on the show.
I've talked to her before about it. Got to get some clearances from DC on that one, but it's definitely a possibility.
I mean, we have 31 million people watching right now. Speaking of, that is the news, and we may as well just say hello to you 31 million people. We got a supreme love. We got Bond. Paul Bond. We got Caleb Leland into Oblivion, Cosmic Toby 911. We got Movie Fan 91. We got Josh's Comics. We'll be seeing that face in a hot sec here. Who else do we have? We have Tony Connor. We got Louis Logix, aka the Doom Lover. Drift Lord. Whoa. Super excited that he found you on Facebook. Were you hiding? I don't understand what
I wasn't, but I don't have my last name on there, so it's a little harder to find me.
Goonish Lurker, I brought this up a little bit earlier. We got Jim, a.k.a. Bronzeville Comics, Matt Labno, Dr. Frankenstein, a.k.a. Shelby, a.k.a. You say it.
Mrs. 360 Comics.
Mrs. 360 Comics. We got Spider Dude 71. We got Nikita Kade. We got Collecting Dude. What's up? Who else? Oh, really, Jim? Really? That's going to be a nice segue. We got Raising Elm, Jordan Nori, and Gary's Comics. Y'all, like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We love you. We want to keep doing these videos and make it more of a party. Bring it to more people's attention. Let's have everybody here having a party with us, because we talk about comics and we party. Right? Speaking of partying, oh, look at this. Where your boy Chet? Okay, here's the deal. I I will have to say, Chet did take off for New Comic Book Day today. But he does have a little something going on here. And before we do that, I think it's, Joe, Chris, and I wanted to kind of acknowledge the impact that Chet has had on the community here, whether it be good or bad. So we're just going to show you a few things here. We're going to show you a few things that, a few reactions. How about that? Let's just start maybe with, how about we just start with Josh's comics? Does that sound good?
Yeah, I think this is important to show.
This is very important to show because we don't condone violence, but sometimes you do want to make a statement.
Yo, I got something to say to Chet G-Pot. You've been talking a lot lately, Chet. And now I sent you a nice message and I want to be friends with you. I want to open up the community to you, to let you in. But you spit in my face, Chet. And let me tell you something. Oh, brother. Let me tell you this right now. What you gonna do, Chet, when all the Josh maniacs run wild on you? Because you see, Chet, you can upset me. You can spit in my face, Chet. But when you start talking bad about my friends on the comic book canon, it's a done deal, Chet. I'm challenging you to a match. Let's see if your auto intelligence can take me one-on-one. Bring it on, Chet.
Now I'm trying to look at Chet did have a reply to this, and I don't know where it is. I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know. Anyways, but Josh is pretty passionate about Chet.
I was concerned for both of them, honestly.
Yeah. I think Chet kind of blew it off in his patronizing way. But Chris, being the guy that he is, wanted to step in here and kind of squash this beef. So squash it, Chris. This is just part of his, he had a live Instagram for he talked about for 20 minutes, 6 minutes. So we got to follow up with Josh. We're hoping that things are better between the two of them. But here's Chris.
IG community. We got something stirring right now that I needed to come here and address to the community. You guys know I love this community. And you guys know I don't like beef. Ain't no need for beef in this community. So I'm going to try to come in between this before something really pops off. This is really serious because I care about all of you. All right. But we got some funk starting to brew between two members of this community. Josh's Comics and Chet G-Pot.
So, and he went off there. He's just trying to kind of smooth things out. Josh, I hope you're kind of feeling the same way. But by this, where's Chet tonight? Nowhere to be found. Probably calling him out on that. But there has been some positive with Chet so far. And if y'all haven't followed Chet right about now would be a perfect time to do it at the Instagrams at Chet G-Pot. But we got Jim, Bronzeville Comic. I mean, that guy's he knows his comics.
Oh yeah,
he knows his comics, and he decided to take input from Chet here.
It's New Comic Book Day, and I'm following the advice of Chet GTP, picking up a copy of Lamentation, several different covers up there. So if you're not following Chet, you should. For all the best advice, he's taking over the Comic Book Canon show, and has some really great advice. One of the hot new YouTube content creators. So I'll try Lamentation. I'll let you know how it is.
The hot new YouTube. I mean, you and I don't need to hear that because he's gunning for our jobs.
I'm concerned.
Yeah. So Chet will not join us on camera tonight. He was feeling a bit under the weather from what I understand, but as our correspondent, he has responsibilities. He has to deliver content to us. And luckily, it was May the 4th. What
it was? We had
2 days ago.
Star Wars celebrating, yeah.
So he pitched to us, hey, guys. Actually, that's nicer. That's a nicer word than what he called us. I'm going to be doing a May the Star Wars comic, a short Star Wars history of Star Wars comics. I can't spit it out. Maybe I just missed Chet. And Joe and I back and forth, we're like, you know what? It makes sense because it's even though it's past May the 4th, it's still applicable. Everybody wants to. I mean, it's Star Wars. Come on. So here, please welcome Chet with his his part of the show this evening.
Oh boy, the history of Star Wars comics. Where do I even begin? I mean, sure, the original Marvel comics from the 70s and 80s were groundbreaking in their own way, but let's be real. They were mostly just glorified movie adaptations. It wasn't until Dark Horse got their grubby little mitts on the license that things started to get interesting. You had names like John Ostrander and Jan Duursema crafting original stories and characters that expanded the Star Wars universe in ways the movies could only dream of. And then, of course, Marvel swooped back in like the entitled X they are and reclaimed the license in 2015. But hey, at least we got some cool variant covers out of it, right? Time for grape soda. Chet out tut.
Well done,
Nice.
Chet.
Nice.
As always, it's a pleasure working with not really.
One thing that Chet did miss though is
What's
that
that?
currently IDW also has the rights to the adventures, right?
We're gonna need to let Chet know.
We're gonna let him know.
He's gonna lash out at us because he's never wrong.
High Republic Adventures is IDW.
I 100%. He missed out on that. I don't know what collecting dude is saying, but I don't know what he's talking about. No mention. Come on, Chet. No mention to collect. Did you help him? Alex? Did you help Chet? Oh, no mention of IDW. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay. And no newspaper. Oh, I think Chet's going to be giving you a call, Alex. I'm pretty sure that's going.
We should have brought a real expert in, like Collecting Dude or Nemesis Prime, but
yeah,
budget was low this week.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate our staff quit on us during the middle of the week and left us scrambling. So this is the show we got for you. However, we're not going to be charging you extra, even though my doctor bill may need it. Couching and slouching with C Bizzle, what's happening, hot stuff, and obviously the man of the hour, every hour. It's okay if you're late. It is absolutely okay, Dan. Sorry, everybody. All right. We're going to move on to the next segment. Give Chet a little follow. I don't think we're going to be hearing back from him at all this evening. I mean, I could be wrong. Sometimes he pops in every once in a while.
Oh, look, it's the dynamic duo of Clueless and Boring. What's up, Jeff and Joe?
He did it again. He loves that joke. He thinks that's absolutely hilarious. So there you go. There's Chet right there. All right, but we're going to move on to another, our next segment. And it's a good thing I'm clearing my throat. You ready? Ready? Oh, shit. By the way, our lawyer is in here, by the way. Yeah. Better start feeling better soon, Jeff. My legal fees go up in the summer. I think you should actually be working pro bono with us because it's a pleasure. We're wonderful people. When is Props or Flops coming back? I mean, Movie 1091. I don't know where you've been the past couple of weeks, but we've been doing the Props or Flops, and we got some Props or Flops this evening as well, which we will get to. Promise you on that. But before that, Joe and I, we have a little ditty that we do. It's called. Hold on. No, seriously, my throat's jacked. I don't know why. But here we go. I'll give it my best. Ready? Ask Joe. Oh, damn, you hit that bass just like we rehearsed. That's right. This is the segment where you can ask Joe anything, almost anything. He'll answer almost anything. There are a few subjects he's not an expert in. However, comic books are his thing. Is that fair to say, Joe?
I do enjoy the occasional comic book.
You do, 100%. So, you in the chat, you the audience, please hit up Joe. Ask him any questions you may have regarding comic books or life in general. But before you do that, we actually had a submission this week from good friend of the show, Paul Mond. And here we go. I don't know if you're ready for this one. Joe, I know you're redoing your bathroom, so which toilet are you going with?
Oh my god, that is. I don't know if I would be like stoked to have that in my house or like if that would just creep me out a little bit too much.
Right. Well, I got more here. Hold on. I'm getting to his page. We downloaded this, by the way, like minutes before we went live. So we got the Hulk, as you saw. Another Hulk.
I'm putting you full screen. Hold on.
Please do, because I'm not smart enough to do it. Another Hulk. You got Black Panther. That's sleek. Very sleek.
See, that one's not creepy as much.
Well, how about this one?
That one's honestly the creepiest.
Yeah. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. You got Batman.
Okay.
That looks like it would fit right in your bathroom. I think that would be perfect for you. I'm going to go with Batman.
That one's solid.
I mean, you're done in a flash, usually, right?
No, dude, I like sitting there and scrolling.
Oh, wait, time out. We may have a new one here. I mean, Green Lantern.
Oh, it's so good.
It really is. This is the legit Iron Man.
Oh, my God.
And then you got your Spider-Man. I think I'd go with that in that
bathroom.
So these, I do believe these were all, they were all made in Midjourney, which is AI, which helped create Chet. So those are all,
they're not real?
No, none of those are real.
Oh, what? Oh, God.
What? Doesn't mean that they can't be real.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyways, which one would you go with?
I think it's got to be the Batman one. I think Batman, bowel movement, like it makes sense.
Oh, gosh. Joe smashes that toilet for sure. The Iron Man one should have a heated seat and bidet. Hello, Mark Lineker. Paul says that there's one correct answer. I mean, Paul, since you sent this question in, it's you're obligated to tell us what answer that is. So yeah, while bat flush, that's cute. While we're getting an answer back from Paul, here's a good question from Josh. What did you pick up for Free Comic Book Day? Yes.
So, full disclosure, I had a 2-day, 8-round miniature golf tournament this weekend. It was my entire weekend was miniature golf and a little bit of yard sale and flea market hunting. So I did not really go to Free Comic Book Day in the way that I normally do, which if you remember last year, the year before, I hopped around to a bunch of different stores, filmed a bunch of content, picked up a bunch of stuff. Didn't have time for that this year because it just happened to fall on the same day as my annual, my friends group's annual miniature golf tournament. So
priorities.
You gotta. I ran into my LCS 2 minutes before they closed, picked one of each book that they had left and put them in a bag and bought a couple things because I always want to support the store, and they had 20% off back issues that day. So I got some Silver and Bronze Age ASM, always a good pickup. And I have not opened that bag yet. So I have not read anything. I have not even really looked it over. I always make sure that I grab as much as I can, one of each comic, not multiple, but, try to grab a bunch of them because anything that I don't want to read myself, I can just give out to people, give to kids, throw it in as an extra for a claim sale or something. So, there's no reason not to pick them all out since I do have a way to, give them to other people. And that being said, I usually do like a review of Free Comic Book Day books. So I will probably get to reading some of those this week. Hopefully if I can find some time or at least a couple of them and give my opinions on some. So.
Yeah. Well, I know this is your segment, but will you allow me to show everybody what I got for Free Comic Book Day?
Jeff, I would be honored if you would take part in this segment.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I got a Marvel Voices #1. First appearance of Kiem, I think. That's that's going to be an antagonist for Ironheart. I got this Spider-Man Venom #1. What I am most wait, was this a big pull? This wasn't the big. There's another big pull. The PlayStation.
That's not the big one, but that one. I mean, anything Spider-Man is.
This is. I love this cover. Is this where? No, it's Gleason. But I'm most excited about this. I mean, come on, right? For my daughter.
Oh yeah.
Or is it? I don't know. But
that's Smurfing awesome.
Thanks. I appreciate that. So that's what I got, if anybody was asking. All right, so we got an answer from Paul here about the toilets. There was only one right answer, as he said. The one that doesn't look like a superhero is mounting you while using it.
Yeah,
You really want
that's the Iron Man head.
Do you really want your significant other to walk in while you're sitting on the Hulk like that?
Oh, I didn't even realize what it looks like when you're actually sitting on it. Yeah, that's All right, we have to rate this episode M for mature content.
There we go. And by the way, Dan is he's on a bus heading back from the Giants game. Lost to the Brewers. Hey, Sixers won. Oh, I mean, Phillies won, but also the Sixers. Does this show have closed captioning? I do believe it does. I think you have to kind of click the settings there, but I do believe it has live captioning. Yes.
Yeah,
so
I think through YouTube.
Yes, correct. We don't do it. We don't have an intern typing what we're saying, but yes, it's AI generated. But nice to know you're going to that ballpark. That's a beautiful ballpark. All right. Do we have any other questions for Joe before we move on to the next segment, which will be something that Movie Fan 91 will be interested in? Anybody? This is your last chance for the week.
Well,
but please.
Brendan just asked if I got the I Am Stan book. I did definitely pick that one up. Anything that's like historical or informational, like Overstreet usually puts out a free comic book day book every year. And I always try to pick those up because that's interesting to me. Yeah, I didn't see that.
I didn't see that one.
I'm into that stuff. I'm a nerd.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, the guy, he transformed an industry. Yeah, and then Josh, I think it was the Spider-Man 2, the prequel to Spider-Man 2 video game. Everybody's going crazy for.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got that, but I'll find out.
I mean, I think it's dropped in price significantly in the past 48 hours, but I would check on that. Oh, here's a question. Who is Joe's favorite superhero? I know the answer.
Yeah, I think I've answered this one before on
It's going to be surprising.
I will gladly say it again. It is Nightcrawler from the X-Men. Bunch of reasons behind that, but probably the main driving force, the thing that got me really interested in the character in the mid-90s was I used him in the X-Men arcade game all the time, which was at my local bowling alley and various arcades in the area, which that's what probably initially got me into that character. And just reading his stories and all that stuff made that love grow over the years, and still to this day he's my favorite.
He's a very cool character, but you're the only person I know that says that he is your favorite character.
Yeah.
Listen, we appreciate all you guys spending Sunday night with us. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, we appreciate you. Oh, this is a good one. Who's your Spider-Man? Manny, the Hobgoblin collector. I don't think we've ever met you before, but it's nice to have you joining us tonight. Who is your favorite Spider-Man villain?
Yeah,
this is
Manny,
a tough one.
I've checked out a couple of Manny's videos on YouTube. Does a deep dive into like the history of Hobgoblin and some stuff like that. So Hobgoblin is my second favorite. Favorite. So sorry to let you down there. Mysterio takes the cake.
Oh, Mysterio is fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
And it honestly, I think it might have partially been due to the fact that I liked Rey Mysterio, the wrestler, as a kid, and I related the names.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, cool character. The fact that he, is a, more of a mental character, does like the whole trickery thing, and he's mysterious. Like anytime there's, a lack of information about a character, like with the Joker and stuff like that, it kind of makes you question, what's going on with this guy. So yeah, Mysterio is number one.
No, Mysterio is fantastic. I'm gonna have to go with the traditional Green Goblin. I remember Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. There was an episode with him. I'm like, who is this guy? And then the whole history of these two. It's pretty interesting, especially now that they're like, well, I haven't caught up on all of the latest Amazing Spider-Man issues, but they're like colleagues in a way. Anyways, interesting, very interesting. But right there, that wraps up this segment called Ask Joe. Oh gosh, the reverb on that. That's crazy. Do you have a board right there or something?
Yeah, I
Nice.
got a soundboard right in, you can't see it, man. It's down here.
Incredible, dude. You
Yeah, I wish.
surprised me yet again. All right.
Jeff, before I say something, someone did mention Guardians of the Galaxy in the chat. Are we gonna?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that talk now? And
Let's
by the
do
way,
that talk now because, by the way, no spoilers. No spoilers. But
None.
I haven't seen it yet either. I was planning on seeing it early today, and I was like, nah, it's too nice out to sit in a theater for 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I am dying to see it. But Joe, go.
Yeah, so I saw it. Again, no spoilers. I'm not gonna say anything about the movie, other than bring a box of tissues.
Don't do this.
It's just straight up the most emotionally gut-wrenching Marvel movie that I've ever
really
seen. And yeah, and I'm talking, we're coming off the heels of Wakanda Forever, where an actual real life person passed away who was an actor in those movies. And I'll tell you, I definitely teared up during Wakanda Forever in multiple occasions, but I don't think it was nearly as just, oh my God, pulling at the heartstrings, something we say a lot on the show. That movie does it like no other, sprinkles in a little bit of that James Gunn comedy to chop it up so you're not crying the entire movie.
Yeah.
You gotta laugh sometimes, but yeah. And yeah, Shelby, she said she cried 3 times. It was definitely a sad movie. Perfect cap to the trilogy. I'm not going to give anything away. We know what we've seen. It focuses on Rocket. That's in the trailer. That's not giving away any information. But oh man,
here's the thing.
That's all I gotta say.
Like that's I kind of expect that going in based on what people have said in interviews. I'll tell you what, James Gunn is excellent at balancing heart and comedy.
Yes.
He's like really good at it. And Peacemaker had heart. It was raunchy. It was hilarious, but it was, it had a lot of heart to it. What I'll say though, people are saying that, the box office is down. This could be superhero fatigue. We've seen this before. We've heard this before. I hope that's not the case. I hope some more fresh thing. Flash is going to probably reinvigorate this kind of genre. But going back to Guardians, I'm very excited to see it, especially James Gunn's swan song, pretty much for the MCU for the long-term future.
Yeah.
I mean, he could make a return. Who knows? But I'm very excited to see it. And the thing with these Marvel movies, I see a theme throughout most Marvel movies. It's family, and you had that family. It started when they all got together.
Yeah.
You had that family with Yondu and the story with Star-Lord and Yondu in 2. Yeah. I teared up quite a bit in that movie. And then, I'm sure it probably will be tenfold as I watch this. So, all right. So anyways, y'all let us know what you think when you see it. Hit us up on the Instagrams. You can hit us up there on the YouTubes in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I hate sounding like a salesman. All right, moving on. Gary says that he was disappointed with the depiction of Warlock and High Evolutionary. I've been hearing that a lot.
To that, I want to say, because someone else mentioned Warlock. Warlock, when he first emerged from the cocoon, was kind of not like a bumbling idiot, but he was new to the world. Despite being a fully formed, being capable of some insane stuff, he didn't know kind of what to do, and I think that was kind of what they were showing in this movie. It should be noted, this was not a Warlock movie. This was a movie to introduce the character coming out of the cocoon, and
which is
existing. But this certainly is not going to be the end of Warlock. We're going to see a lot more of that character in the future. And as far as High Evolutionary, honestly, I was more stoked about High Evolutionary than I was seeing Kang in Quantumania, which is saying something. I think High Evolutionary, sure, he's not exactly like the comic book character, but the depiction of the character and his just insanity and an obsession, I thought it was chef's kiss.
From what I understand, if you are a lover of animals, you will not like this character.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason why my wife wants to fist fight him.
Yeah, she said so right there. There's proof. All right, moving on. We got this segment we do each and every week. This is how I introduce every segment. I got to come up with better, one-liners for these segments. Anyways, props or flops. Here it is. Movie Fan 91. Props or flops. Upload any comic to Instagram. Use the hashtag props or flops. Be sure to tag us here at Comic Book Canon, at Journos Comics, at 360 Comics, so we see it. Tag the picture, please. Don't tag us in the description. Tell us why this book interests you. And again, come from a perspective of investing, not anything else, but investing purposes. We'll break down the market live on our show. Well, that's kind of a lie. That's kind of a lie. Because we got Chris here. He pre-taped this segment right here. And we're going to go through two submissions. We want to get your input on that as well. Tell us props or flops in the comments. Here we go.
What is going on, everyone? I'm sorry I can't be live on the Canon today, but I'm here to talk about our two books that we got for props or flops this week. Starting with the first book, let's just go right into it. This is from Heitskin, if I'm saying that right, Heitskin. With the big props or flops for Avengers, issue number 316. It is a newsstand edition, April 1990, near mint to near mint plus, he states. Pay $3 for it. Minor key. Spider-Man is offered membership to the Avengers, but it is revoked in Avengers 318. So, props or flops. So here we have an early 90s book. It is a newsstand. He's got it in a near mint, just a really pristine looking copy. This book has the elements of an early 90s newsstand going for it. That's number one. Obviously in high grade. He's calling it a minor key. Now, funny thing enough, I just dropped a video yesterday on my channel discussing what constitutes a book to be key. And it's funny that I think this book falls kind of in between that line. Key doesn't mean it has to be a huge, valuable book. It just simply has to have some type of key element in it that, stands out to readers, buyers, collectors, etc. Could this be one of them? It could be, but I'm teeter-tottering on it because this is more of something that's happening within the story arc and not really the character of Spider-Man joining the Avengers, say like She-Hulk did in the early 80s. And now, even though that was temporary, she actually joined the group. It wasn't just, oh, let's hang out in this story arc and, oh, you want to offer me to be a part of the Avengers for 2 issues and then it's revoked. It's a little bit more silly. So will that hold weight? That's where that's questionable. All right. Now, the one thing with this issue, I did talk about newsstand. There are newsstand Mark Jeweler issues for this. All right. But this book on the market in a near mint raw is basically a $3 book. The only way it's been selling for above that is if it's the Mark Jeweler newsstand variant, where I did see some high grade near mint raw selling for over $10. Props or flops on this? Again, this is specifically investment reasons, right? For $3 for this book, even in a newsstand, I think that's absolutely solid. And I think, in a couple years from now, 5 years from now, this person can probably sell it for a little bit more than $3, especially with it being a newsstand high grade. But ultimately, when we look at it from the standpoint of, is this going to have a long-term investment value? I'm going to say no. And for that reason, I'm going to give it a flops. I just don't see this book having much of any value as a key unless you have a near mint 9.8 potential Mark Jewelers variant. But I still think this is a great buy for that $3. I would have picked it up for $3 as well. I wouldn't have passed it up. So again, this props or flops is all about, is this book going to be something that's investment worthy in the future? And I just don't see that happening with this one, but still a really good solid buy for $3.
This is an interesting one. And apologies, the audio is a little low on that. I couldn't fix it, but hopefully you guys heard all of that.
Yeah, and then you started talking, and everyone was like, "Ah!"
I know.
I
I tried to remind myself of that as we ended that video, and I think I still talked a little bit too loud. So apologies for that. Joe, go.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay. So, like Chris said, this book has some things going for it. It is a newsstand, early 90s newsstand, a little bit more rare. Not, it's not like it's 5% of the print run. I'm pretty sure that would have been about 15% of the print run, maybe 20%, somewhere in that range. So, a smaller amount of the print run, but not a book that I would call scarce by any means, especially with those high print runs that we had at that time. So there's, a little plus, little negative, another little plus and negative. It's a minor key, and it's not just a minor key. It's a minor key about not a popular character, the popular character, the most popular Marvel character, joining what is now the most popular Marvel team, at least in recent years. I think X-Men certainly were before the MCU, but the MCU really has mainstreamed, the Avengers to a point where I would say to the average human being, Avengers are more popular than the X-Men. Probably not in the comic collector world, but that's another story. Anyway, huge character joining popular team that is decent. And as other books become more and more expensive and harder to obtain, intro level collectors on a budget, people looking to grab the stuff cheap, they're going to go towards those lower keys. So I do think it has that as a plus. But as Chris said, as an investment piece, long term, I don't think this checks all the boxes, mainly because of the fact that stuff from that time period, the early 90s, is such high print run, so readily available. There's a good chance that book, even in newsstand, even in high grade, is probably in dollar bins everywhere.
Yeah.
Do I see it going up over time? Sure. I could see that book selling for $5, maybe even $10, but I don't see it going up more than that. What I mean? I don't see, I see that book continuing to be in dollar bins and show up in dollar bins. It's not like, all the dollar bin copies are picked now and it's a $20, $30, $40 book. I don't see that happening. It's not enough of a key. Is it a great key to have in your collection? Absolutely. Is it a cool little thing that even ties to the MCU a little bit? Sure. Why not? But at the same time, long-term value, I got to give it flops.
I remember this issue. I got it off the rack, and I remember all the hoopla is, as a kid, is Spider-Man going to join the Avengers? Like a big deal. Oh, and I remember reading up on it and all that stuff. So it has nostalgia purposes for me. I'm a little torn, not because of this, but Cover Price has it as a key comic book. Spider-Man joins the Avengers. It has it as $15 for. That could be Mark Jewelers. I know that could be that. It has it as $15 for a newsstand. So that's well done in terms of that. And this is as recent as January. Somebody purchased it. On top of that, there is a rumor, and again, take this with a grain of salt. We're not confirming this by any means, but that Spider-Man will lead the Avengers for Secret Wars. So, all of this being said, I agree. I'm going to give it a flops as well. I feel bad. My favorite character of all time. I remember this book. Very nostalgic, but I don't see it may hit a peak if this is true, where Tom Holland is going to be leading the Avengers in Secret Wars, but it's not. I don't think it's a long-term keeper in terms of like gaining much value, like exuberant amount of value. So I have to say the same.
I'm looking on eBay right now. There are a bunch of copies listed for $5 down to $2. I like I said, this book it's tough for anything that's not a big key to be worth much. From this era because of the print runs. Like, think about how popular Carnage is And right now you can get a near mint first appearance of Carnage for under $100.
Yeah, that's true. But again, that's not that's a generalization. And I know you don't mean it as such, because there are books from the 90s that pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But they're all either low print run for some reason.
Yeah,
there are a few. Not what is it? Bone One. That's a good example. Or they're a major key, and usually they're both low print run and a major key.
Yeah, no, agreed. All right, so we're gonna move on from that one, but here's another book. This is a good submission as well, and check it out.
All right, next up for Props or Flops, we got a book from Caleb Leland, the real Caleb Leland. This is Amazing Spider-Man #1, the facsimile issue. Love these facsimile issues, by the way. Caleb states, the main reason I bought the particular comic pack, so he purchased it in a comic pack. I purchased it today because of this book right here. I'll most likely never own an ASM #1, but I can own a minty facsimile book. But I've noticed that facsimile books have gone up in value as some collectors look for these books as a good substitute. The pack of 30 books cost me $8.98. So this book cost me $2.99, a buck less than cover price. First off, right there, getting $1 less cover price is awesome. I personally love the facsimile issues, and Caleb, you're absolutely right. These books, shortly after their release, often go up in value, and I'm not saying but that much. Like, you can look at any of them after a month after their release, and you can easily buy one on eBay or see them selling on eBay for anywhere from $5 to $10. Some of them even more than that. As they age out even more, we have some, I think, when did these start? These really started, I think, in 2019, if I remember correctly, where they started really reissuing the facsimiles. There are facsimiles that are pushing $30. I think the ASM or the Amazing Fantasy 15 in a high grade near mint is pushing $30, and I think that was one of the early ones that came out around 2019 when they started doing these like almost monthly. It seems like there's another facsimile coming out. So props or flops on this. You got it under cover price, and I mean, it's Amazing Spider-Man #1. I give this props all day long, because I absolutely do believe that this book in 20 years is going to be probably at least worth $30. That's my guess on it, and that's a good percentage of return. If you bought it for $3 and you sell it for $30 some years down the road, that's an investment right there. You know, chump change to many, but still, it's an investment. I think the facsimiles are a great option that are collectible, that are readable, and that are sought after by collectors for many reasons, especially with how cheap they are, to be able to get a book that looks so much like the original, except for obviously the cover price on it being $3.99 instead of 10 cents, 12 cents, etc., whatever, when they came out. And that's what pushes these books to have kind of a premium value on the market, on the secondary market, soon after they release. So, again, they're not all created equal. Some of them are going to have higher secondary market as they age out more than others, but you're talking about possibly the most popular comic book character of all time in his first solo title in his legacy run. Any reprint of Amazing Spider-Man #1, I think, is going to absolutely have future investment value there. So, Caleb, I give this props all day, every day. Good pickup. I actually don't think I have the ASM1 facsimile, and it breaks my heart to know that. That's what I got for you guys. Love to hear your thoughts.
All right, so we're going to give you an opportunity to lower the volume as we get into our speaking voices. Joe, I'd like to get your input here first.
So this is a tough one, because this is not just a book. This is not a book that, came out 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, or a book that came out last week and is, the first time that book's been printed. This is a book that has been printed in multiple reprint editions from, dating back to even 1966, them doing the Golden Records reprint. And during the 90s, doing the silver border Marvel milestone reprints that are pretty common out there. And now we are seeing reprints almost every week. I know Collecting Dude, Alex, he's in the chat. He does a video every new comic book day, or maybe he does it monthly. I forget exactly. But he is a big collector of reprints and facsimiles, and he always makes sure to highlight those and talk about those. There is absolutely a market for these because the average person that's into comic books can't afford an ASM one. I don't have one. Do you have one, Jeff?
I have 18 of them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I do not actually.
Nine sevens, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, people are always going to be buying these. What is going to make this either a prop or a flop in the future is how often and how often and how much they are reprinted. Because when there's just one reprint of something, a book that's only been reprinted once, take Werewolf by Night 32. There was never a facsimile or a reprint of that book until 2 years ago, leading up to the Moon Knight show, when they decided to do that. That was not a book that was reprinted before, and that facsimile sells for about $10.
Yeah,
and it was selling for even more. I was selling for 15 for a while. That being said, this is a book that's already been reprinted multiple times, and I think will likely be one of the biggest candidates to continue to reprint on a regular basis. And every time the book's reprinted, the value of those reprints goes down. There are collectors out there like Collecting Dude who wants to own every single reprint of a book. He just did it. He's working on a video right now of every single time Action Comics 1 has been reprinted.
Wow.
And he's trying to get every copy of those reprints. But as they are reprinted more, the price goes down, because not everyone is like, there we go. He's talking about that. Not everyone is like Alex. Not everyone wants to have every single one. They probably are fine with just having one or two, maybe, maybe a reader copy and a display copy. So, could it end up being a props if it, say they don't do this for another 10 years, they don't reprint Amazing Spider-Man 1 in the next 10 years. Will it go up over that 10 years? Yeah, I think so. But I think there's a more than likely chance that it will be reprinted in the next 10 years. And for that reason, I got to go with on the side of flops here.
Yeah, man, I'm leaning. I'm flops as well. As much as I love this character, now for me, I'd love to have this facsimile. I did not pick it up, but I can pick it up for $4 or or thereabouts. Let's see. Actually, we can click on the eBays. But there's just what you said, man. I don't need to repeat it. There are so many reprints here, dating back from 63 was the first. Well, yeah, I mean, like, you got 93, you got 2011, you got 66, 62, 2022, 2023. I agree. It's going to be a flops. As much as I love it, and I want to get one, maybe even have one to again display at some point. But this is definitely a flops for me.
Yeah, I think don't get me wrong. I did a video about reprints, about facsimiles. And I said, I think they are great for the comic book community. Not only, do people put money into them, buy them from the stores, they're giving the stores money, supporting a local comic shop, supporting the publisher. That's just more books that get sold. You have the opportunity to read and collect the first, appearances of major characters.
And see like the original ads and things like that. That's what's great.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're historic. They are cool display pieces and stuff like that. And some of them, when they're not reprinted, like I don't think they're going to do a Werewolf by Night 32 anytime soon, unless Moon Knight becomes significantly more popular. Spider-Man is massively popular. They are going to continue to reprint this book to death until there's a bazillion copies out there, and you're gonna find them in dollar bins. That is my personal opinion, and I'm not telling you what to collect, because obviously this is not something about collecting. This is about the investment value. And the fact that they have the ability to just reprint this book anytime they want and probably sell a bazillion copies makes me say it's a flop.
Yeah. And by the way, we don't need people to take this personally. If you think it's worth it, if you think it's worth investing in, you should do it. Don't listen to us. This is just our opinion. That's what Props or Flops is all about. So, Caleb, we love you. That's fact. And this is not anything personal. Although Joe actually doesn't like you, and I think he did.
Wow, that's rude.
I'm joking. I'm joking, man. Getting a little punchy. The Sixers won. It's been a long, got running around this weekend. I took care of the leaves for my lawn that I was supposed to do last fall.
Yeah, I was gonna say the leaves. I still had some in my yard when I did my first couple mows of the year.
Yeah. So, anyways, but that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about this stuff because right now we're gonna end this segment by telling you what it is and how to enter it again. Props or flops, everybody. Upload any comic that you have some interest in terms of an investing purposes to the Instagrams. Make sure to use the hashtag props or flops. Make sure to tag the picture. Don't put us in the description. Make sure you tag the picture at Comic Book Cannon, at Journos, at 360s. Tell us why this book interests you. Tell us how much you paid for it, and we will break it down live on the show.
Whoa.
You like that, Jeff?
That was good. I just want to defend myself here. I don't hate bass players. I'm a bass player. The only instrument that I've ever took lessons for was bass, and I taught myself guitar and drums off of learning bass. I don't hate bass players. I pinky promise.
Oh, wow. Caleb.
Called out in the chat.
I know, man. Oof, that hurts. This is getting, hey, we got to squash this beef. We got Josh's comics and Chet. Now we got Caleb and you. Woo! Yeah, C to the G. How about them Sixers getting that W? Root for anyone against Boston. I'm glad I can finally pick up a copy of Jim Lee X-Men 1 with the facsimile.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a facsimile of that, but
there's a few million issues of that as well.
There are many.
Yeah. Paul Bond. We did not see anything.
You comment on it. I think you said you wanted to do it next week. I think that was one of the later submissions.
Yeah. I think again, Joe and I are very busy people.
Oh, last week's he said.
Send it our way.
You are so fired, man.
Yeah, you're probably.
Oh no. So anyway, this is where the canon ends. Oh, he's back.
No. We got fresh from the comic shop. Paul, hit us up
right
in the DMs. Hit us up in the DMs. We'll make that right for you. All right, moving on. This is the segment we save for last because y'all love it. It's save the best for last. It is called.
Listen, you just said the name. You can't pretend like you don't know it.
Fresh from the comic shop, fly from the pressing salon. That's right. We ask you, the audience, to send in your fresh gets each and every week, and you never disappoint. Fresh gets could be 2 days old, as in from New Comic Book Day, or they could be 30 years old. You'll pull it out of a long box and be like, woo, this thing is 30 years old. As long as they're fresh in your collection, we want to see them. Not only do we want to see them, if you submit, you're already entering into Fresh from the Comic Shop monthly prize of EGS Comic Slab. That was not grammatically correct, was it? You were a teacher at one point, so feel free to call me out.
Prize. Do prize.
Don't do this to me. I'm really tired and punchy right now, and you may make me cry. EGS sponsors this fine segment here, and we are very happy that they do. EGS is literally, guys, Tony Trombetta, president of EGS, part of this community, really doing something much different than all of the other grading services. That's right. You can get optional custom labels right there. Custom labels. Nobody else does this. Like, by custom, you tell him what you want to do, and he'll do it. Free grader's notes, fast turnaround times. On top of that, use the 5%. Use Canon 5 to get 5% off your EGS order. Check them out, egsgrading.com. You better follow them on the YouTubes. You better follow them on the Instagrams, because if you don't, you are not eligible to win. Those links are below in the description. It was a very nondescript show, too, by the way. The description is very nondescript, and the thumbnail we created is very general.
There is none.
Yeah, exactly. My point. So, anyways, moving on. So if y'all are interested in this, yeah, hey, how can I win? What should I do? Let me give you the 3 criteria we look for here at the Canon. That is presentation. Take a well-composed shot. Get creative. Get artistic with it. Have it relate to the comic book. Have fun with it. A good person who does that is Raising Elm Comics. You check him out all the time. He's always relating like the backgrounds to the actual book. It's really fantastic. Unique. Give us a unique book. Things that, something we may have never seen before, something that you may be the only person that owns this copy in the whole entire world. Something like that. And there are books out there like that. Unique doesn't mean $30,000, but unique could be something that we have not seen before. And finally, Joe said this phrase earlier in the show tonight. Pull at our heartstrings. Give it a tug, because what we want to hear from you is what this book means to you. Give us some emotional connection to the book. Does it remind you of your father? Does it remind you of the first book you ever read, but you left it at McDonald's with ketchup stains on it and you had to get it back even though it was worth $3,000 or whatever? Tell us what it means to you. Give us a story. We get a lot of great stories from you all every week, and Joe and I cry on each other's shoulders.
We do. It's true.
It's a true story.
We meet halfway. We drive to New Jersey.
We do. And we go to a McDonald's.
Usually.
We look at the submissions with our comic books, and then we end up having ketchup all over our comic books.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm head to toe covered in ketchup by the end.
It's a disaster every week, but it's something we do together. It's a disaster together. That's what I enjoy most about you, is us being a disaster. Like the show tonight is an absolute disaster.
Terrible.
I'm going a little too far, right? Going a little too far. All right, we're just going to get into it. Joe and I obviously will be sharing our 3 fresh gets of the week, but we want to check out yours first. So here we go. Who's ready? I'm ready. Let's do it. We got Into Oblivion. Supermassive number 1, CBCS 9.8 white pages. First appearance of Infernal Girl. Red. First appearance of Rogue Sun. First cameo appearance of The Dead Lucky. Joe, this is an interesting one where they're building out a superhero universe through Image again. It started with Radiant Black.
Yeah, I was going to ask if this was related to Radiant Black.
Yes, and I do believe that No One, that new title No One, which is No/1, is in this universe as well. Somebody correct me in the chat if I am wrong, but that No One's excellent. I do have Radiant Black. I have not yet the first issue. That's the only issue I have. They're probably like at 25 now, but I haven't read it yet. So, but No One was good. I'm really enjoying that. Moving on, we got Tree McGee. Love that name. Absolutely love that name. Maybe in space no one can hear you scream, but in the early 50s, if you were advocating against censorship, you were screaming from the top of your lungs. The 50s. It was a time when we were less than 10 years removed from the end of World War II, and the Cold War had just started. Everyone was fearful of infiltration and propaganda from Russia. And at the same time, those in power were fearful of anything challenging the old guard. This particular comic, Weird Science 19, was published May of 1953 and features a zombie spaceman. By today's standards, pretty lame, or tame, sorry. But in early 50s, it caught the attention of many, including a psychiatrist by the name of Frederick Wortham, who believed this book and many like it were contributing to juvenile delinquency. So much so, he wrote a book called Seduction of the Innocent. In 1954, creators like EC, Atlas, etc., found themselves called to testify on Capitol Hill to defend their work. Some wanted comics banned entirely, but in the end, they were not banned, but the comic book industry took matters into their own hand and created the Comic Book Code Authority, or CBCA, to determine what would be considered appropriate for comic content. I've always loved pieces of history, and this book, like many others, is a piece of history and a lesson. We always have to be involved in the political process and make your voice heard, because if we don't, like the SOTY hearings will happen time and time again. I love how through history, and we'll be looking back at this time 20, 30 years down the road, how through history comic books represent what's going on in the world. I love that. And people don't give enough credit to comic books for that.
Sure.
It really is a medium that has sometimes pushed issues out there to get people talking. Yeah. And I truly appreciate Tree McGee for submitting this right here, because that was absolutely ridiculous, the Comics Code. absolutely ridiculous. Where you couldn't have monsters, you couldn't have people sleeping in the same bed, you couldn't talk about anything about drugs, or it was absolutely ridiculous.
You couldn't even have like werewolves, like completely fictional creatures.
Yeah,
that wasn't allowed. It was kind of crazy.
He
they
thought
went
that
overboard. They went overboard.
they thought that this was leading children into psychiatric wards and things like that. It was insane. So if you look back on that, comic books were a scapegoat for other issues that they didn't really know how to deal with, other than using science, which they obviously just blame comic books. So again, Tree McGee, great submission right there. Joe, you probably have a great submission. What's your first fresh sketch of the week?
Yeah, first fresh sketch of the week. This one is cool, and it's very timely right now, and I'll get into why in just a second. This was in a collection that I bought over the weekend, actually just yesterday. You might have seen my post on Instagram. I went yard sale hunting, and I posted a picture of myself holding an X-Men 266, first full, really second appearance of Gambit, but I'm not going to get into that. And Amazing Spider-Man 299, first cameo appearance of Venom. Wanted to show those books off quickly, but this was also in there, and I found this a little later. Now, this is a nothing book. This right here, Bloodlines, part of the Bloodlines run, which was a culmination of all of the, I believe it was 1993. Yeah, 1993 annuals for DC. This is the Superman annual number 5, because they restarted the numbering. But this one's signed, which is pretty cool. Signed by Dan Jurgens right there, who, is responsible for Death of Superman and stuff like that. But what really made this cool to me was on the back right here. Certificate of authenticity. You see these a lot. But if you see the name down there, who signed this, it is signed by Ken Golden. Ken Golden, at the time, in the early 90s, was the CEO of a company he started called Catch a Star Collectibles Incorporated. Not sure if that company became, oh gosh, I'm out of focus.
Yeah, you did it again.
I did it again. Hold on a second. I got to hold this here. I'll try to get this working while I, tell this story. But I'm not sure if Ken Golden just changed the name of the company or actually started a new company. But he is the founder, owner, CEO of Golden Auctions, which is one of the biggest auction houses in the country. I have two friends that either work or have worked for them, and they're located right in New Jersey. They actually just did a Netflix show. It's called The King of Collectibles, The Golden Touch, because it's called Golden Auctions. Definitely check that out. It is a 6-episode, and they're like, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes each, all about different collectibles. It's just their process during the day of buying these collections or consigning them, putting them up for auction. It is very cool to watch if you're into the collectible stuff. And the cool thing about it is because they work with everything, it spans everything. There's sports cards, there's sports memorabilia, there's comic books, there's Beanie Babies, there's even like a concert worn Britney Spears shirt, dress, whatever. I don't know what it is, but they have tons of stuff. If you're into comics, if you're into collectibles, definitely watch it. It's really cool to look behind the scenes there.
Yeah, I like those. Then the history of toys, I think, is another one. That's a Netflix. That's a really good one too.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Love it. Although I'm not sure who would ask for that for Ken's autograph, but
it's signed by Dan Jurgens.
Oh, my bad. Okay,
this is the COA, which was witnessed by Ken Golden.
Told you, man. I'm a little slow tonight. I apologize.
Forgive you.
Moving on. We got Son of Comics. As y'all know, Red Hulk approved right there. Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, the 1 in 50 John Boy Myers variant, first appearance of Rabble. This lady is the definition of a person with a few issues to work out. I'm happy to see Miles' rogue gallery continue to grow. I hope that Miles continues to grow in a positive direction. I have no doubt that he will. His rogues gallery really is coming together. Like, again, for a character that's been around for 15 years, less than 15 years, I think.
12 as of this year. It was 2011.
Okay, less than 15 years. So, he really has a nice collection of rogues here. So that's growth. That's growth, and Marvel doing right by a character and having that character not only grow but also that character's experiences and who he has some altercations with. And here he is. Again, no beef, everybody, but the real Caleb Leland. What do we got? Another week, another doctor's appointment for my wife, but I did try to brighten the day and pick up a Walmart comic pack for the first time. And my goodness, brighten the day did it because this beautiful cover was in the middle. Immortal X-Men #4. Being an X-Men fanboy, I feel ashamed to admit that I haven't read this run, but this cover sold me. Comic Book Cannon, I'm submitting this gorgeous book for Fresh from the Comic Shop this week. I gotta say, I like the colors. I like his faces in here. I'd like to see these our fine friends here. So I'm just gonna make a note. Just making a note. All right, moving on. Oh, here he is. This guy, Mike, aka Pope of Chili Town. And he's submitted a little something right here.
Your taste in comics is as bad as your fashion sense.
Oh, Chet just called out Mike. Mike's the one who's always. Oh, I guess we do have a little bit of beef. Pope at Chili Town, though. What do we got? We have. This is a nice setup here. Criminals may be a cowardly and superstitious lot, but I had no fear sending off this Batman 608 second print to the commish. Michael Raphael Comics to blaze it at Spineworks Comics. It was a high grade going in with some minor imperfections, but why take chances with a rare book that has a shot at the 9.8? Fresh from the comic shops and back today from CGC Comics, and I couldn't be happier. Also, considering this came out of the 4 long box for $100 pickup a couple months back, making that collection an absolute grand slam. I like that. Good pickup, Mike. Good pickup. Shame on us, by the way. Tony is not in the chat, but we have not shown off the book of the month.
It's so good. Every month it gets better, I swear.
It really does. And it may get better starting next month, too. Venom Lethal Protector 2, #1, the timeless Alex Ross variant. Get out of here, man. This thing is gorgeous. Look at that custom label up there at the top with a little bit of Venom. And I love it. Tony does it again. I love what he does. I love what he brings to the table. All right. Again, that's this month's book, people. So y'all are fighting to get into a semifinal position to battle that out to get to the finals. Moving on, we got Nori Jordan. Loves his Thunderbolts. I am still in search of the last 5 Thunderbolts. Last 5, wow. Thunderbolt books needed to complete my run at getting all the possible books from the first 3 series, but I still picked up some great stuff. I reacquired a Thunderbolts #1 CGC 9.8 and a Hulk 449 to replace the ones I had to sell. As some may know, I'm a sucker for Thunderbolts #1s and picked up some raw copies, including a newsstand that is off to CGC as a strong 9.8 canon. One signed by Mark Bagley and another just because. I also found a nice New Mint Thunderbolts Prelude, which is hard to find. Now I have 5 for $5. Finally, there was a Thunderbolts #4, first appearance of Jolt, included in a lot I purchased, which adds to my small stacks of this book. I have numerous copies of most books from this week's submissions, but you can never have too much of a good thing. Goodness, Jordan, Nori Jordan, that's incredible. It is absolutely incredible.
He loves his Thunderbolts.
Oh my gosh. He probably owns a percentage of all the Thunderbolt, like a high percentage. I'm not talking like over 50, but it's got to be at least within like 8% of all Thunderbolts books produced.
We gotta get a count. We really do.
We really do. I doubt it's 8%. That's probably still high. I'm gonna go, Joe. Allow me to go with my first fresh get of the week. Stop by my store. It's not, I don't know. My first fresh gets aren't too exciting, but first of all, this is an amazing cover, and this was a super hot book a few weeks ago. And the character is making a comeback, I do believe, this summer. I can't remember her name. This is killing me. This is The Deadly Neighborhood of Spider-Man #5. Dream Spider.
In there. You got another one of those.
I found cover price. Nice. It was incredible. So I was happy to get that today. All right, moving on. Who do we got? we got Cosmic Toby. I think he's Cosmic Toby now, not Comic Toby, but he's also Cosmic Toby 911. I'm not sure what comes with the name change or why, but we appreciate it. Hello, friends. Today, this is my submission to Fresh from the Comic Shop at Comic Book Canon. We're talking about Batman 612, a Jim Lee cover, also signed by Jim Lee. If you look on over by the red cape, signed in blue ink, this is certified by Amazing Comic Conventions. I left the price tag on because I would also like to enter props or flops with Mr. Lee's new promotion to president. I think I struck comic book gold. So I'm not sure this falls under props or flops. We did talk to Chris about it. I think we need a little bit
more information.
Yeah, a little bit more information would help it out. But that's still a great pickup. Very happy. To be honest, let's just do a quick props or flops, maybe. Like, I don't see that the fact that Jim Lee making it to president and CCO would have an effect on this book.
Yeah, but it's that's from the original Hush run, so that is always going to be a good pickup.
Oh yeah, it's a good book, exactly. But I think they're not tied for this book's success. The fact that Jim Lee is now an Uber executive within DC.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Interesting. Okay.
Here's why. Jim Lee owned Wildstorm before it was sold, and we're getting an Authority movie. Did anyone have that on their bingo card?
Okay.
I think I'm not saying like, oh, you're promoting his own properties, whatever, blah, 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 promoting stuff that he owned or helped create. What I'm saying is there's probably a better chance of stuff that he created happening on the big screen because he is in a leading role with the company. So could they do Hush? I think they will do Hush. We already got a little glimpse, little hints at Hush in the Batman. So
true.
Is
absolutely
that coming? Probably. I think so.
It would be a great story for them to put on the big screen. But however, those dots, in my opinion, don't connect. He's a publisher. I don't think he will influence what happens with James Gunn. I think you got Jim Lee right here and you got James Gunn over here. Those departments, they probably discuss things.
Sure.
Those departments don't heavily influence each other.
I get what you're saying, but I can't see a situation where there wouldn't be some amount of influence.
I'm not going to give that book a flops though.
Oh no, never.
No. So there you go. That's props from Joe and I.
Toby. There you go.
Yeah. So props from Joe and I. Moving on, we got Marvel Man 616 Comics Edge of Spider-Verse #1, the Scotty Young variant, featuring the first appearance of the Spider Killer, yet another Spider character. But I do like the Scotty Young cover.
Oh yeah.
This is a new book. Joseph, your second fresh get of the week.
All right, so my second fresh get of the week, Tree McGee, aka A Supreme Love, because he has two different usernames, depending on if we're on YouTube or Instagram. Chris, we'll just call him Chris for now.
Yeah.
Not our Chris, but our other Chris. Anyway, he posted an EC horror book, and look what I got here. An EC horror book. Guess who I got this EC horror book from?
Ooh.
Tree McGee, aka A Supreme Love, aka other Chris.
Now those dots connect.
We have done multiple trades, purchases, sales over the last couple years in this community. Never met the guy in person. He lives many states away, but we've done a bunch of deals. And this was a recent pickup from him for my personal collection. This is Vault of Horror number 24. It's got a Johnny Craig cover. It's got stories by Craig, Gaines, and Feldstein. Yeah. Great classic pre-code horror, 1952. So, a couple years before the Comics Code Authority. And look at the grade on that. 6.5 off-white to white pages for a book that is quite literally over 70 years old. Awesome.
That's incredible. Good stuff. And it's really cool. Again, you can connect the dots in the community for that.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Thanks, Chris.
That's another great example of this community. So fantastic. We got Mark Leneker up. Look at this Alex Ross goodness. Came across a good buy on a modern classic, Batman Harley Quinn from 1999. First print. This is the first appearance of Harley in regular DC Comics continuity. Iconic painted cover by Alex Ross and written by Paul Dini. The square bound binding and slick back cover can be a treacherous nightmare for 9.8 aficionados. Yeah, can see how that would be a problem. But this is like iconic. This cover right here. And I don't know if you've seen I don't know if you've seen the way Alex Ross, like the way Alex Ross does his paintings is he has people standing in for it. So
yeah,
I'm not sure if that was him taking the picture, but he's got this lady in front of him with that menacing that look. It's just incredible. Like I gotta kind of uncover that, or maybe Mark, you can show us. But it's really cool how he gives a little behind the scenes on his painting. All right, next up we got Sicilian Comics. Main Street Comics awesome haul for free comic book day at the best shop in New Jersey. Support your local comic book shop. Yeah, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that 100%. I do see Nukes. He used 2 models for this cover. The pick is out there. It is out there. He does use model. And yeah, Alex Ross can never go wrong. All right, trying to catch up with everybody talking here. We got a lot going on in the chat. If you don't have it subscribed, I'm not sure why, but at least like it. Like us if you like the show. Why not? Just a reminder. Just a little bit. All right, I'm going to go for my second fresh get of the week because why not?
Go for it.
I was making fun of these Spidey characters, but this one, people got a lot of faith in this one, and I saw it again. Cover price at the comic shop I was at today. But this is Edge of Spider-Verse number 4. This is the Spinstress variant. This is her first appearance as well. This shop, it's called Cave Comics in Connecticut. It's really a great shop. Excellent people that work there. And they usually have these books cover price just hanging around. So yeah. All right, moving on. What was Chet's fresh get? He has been very his participation in this episode has been very minimal. He's been taking a lot of abuse from some of his fans, and he doesn't know how to handle it just yet. So
what really happened is we ran out of subscription points, so we can't use Chet's AI and make him move anymore until it resets on the 16th of the month. So check back in 2 weeks. There'll definitely be some more Chet then.
Chet will 100% be back, and you may just hear his VO for the next episode. But just to simplify it, we pay $5 subscription for the software that animates him. The next tier is $50, and we're like, we're not. No, it's
no.
But he does love his grape soda. That's a fact. Moving on. Who do we have? We got Raising Elm. Where's Raising Elm? Please tell me. Oh, here it is. Wow, this is. Did we skip over Cover Junkie? Oh, there. Nope. I was about to skip over Cover Junkie. Not going to do it because he's all about the Doom. Fresh from the comic shop with 9 issues of Doom 2099. Of course, I need the whole run, and this haul put me real close. Hashtag Doom Life. Hashtag Doom Life. I'll tell you what. This guy loves his Doom covers, and he's just going to be hunting Doom covers. And I applaud that. All right, moving on. We got Raising Elm Comics. Here we go. There's Justin. Howdy, comic fam. Have y'all heard? By the way, he's from Texas, so he says y'all. Have y'all heard of the Glopple? I hadn't heard about it until about a year ago when Rick, my buddy from Geektopia Kilgore, that's his shop, gave me a free comic of issue 1 that was signed by the creator, Matt Cole. Yesterday, I heard Matt Cole was a fellow native of East Texas, was doing free signings at Kilgore in Kilgore Geekland. So I went by Rick's shop to meet Matt in person. That's him in the picture. I'm the one with the giant Brillo pad stuck to my chin. LOL, which means laugh out loud, everybody. Anyways, I picked up issue 2 and 3 as well as the Legends preview variant. See the second picture, which I'll get to in a hot second. Issues 1 and 2 are self-published copies by Matt himself and are extremely limited in print run, under 1,000 copies. Legends publishers picked them up and rescripted the first 2 issues and began publishing with the third issue. The New York Comic Con Legends preview variant is my favorite out of a lot because it pays homage to Amazing Fantasy 15. The Glopple is written for kids specifically, so naturally I picked them up for Elijah's PC. Thanks to Rick and Matt for the awesome opportunity and pickup. Happy belated May the 4th, everyone. And here are those pickups right there. Glopple. I should check that out. I think my daughter may like that. And yeah, look at that homage, bottom right corner. That's really, really cool. All right. Moving on. We got supercrispy.comics. Look at this. Check out this awesome prize from Johnny 5 Alive 915. 600 subscriber giveaway. Legal burning work is so amazing. So I'm stoked to win the Badass X-Men print, and the Ninja Funk book is signed. But I got to snag Ninja Funk #1 because I'm crazy and won't read it till I start from the beginning. You're not the only one who has to do that. I'm the same way. And usually a lot of my books just sit because I never end up getting books I need to get. All right, Josh's Comics. I didn't do you wrong. I apologize for all the times that somehow it slipped through my fingers, but yeah, a little distracted right now. Sorry. Josh's Comics, Batman: The Dark Knight Returns #2. First full team appearance of the mutants and the mutant leader, a futuristic street gang. By now, everyone knows Batman was my favorite superhero. Picking up a new mint copy of issue 2 was on my want list. Still need issue 1 to complete the set. I think I could pull off. I think I pull off the look pretty well. This is my fresh from the comic shop for this week's comic book canon. You definitely pull off that look. Look at that. You look menacing, just like he does in the back right there. I like this a lot. So Josh, I just want to let you know.
I like it too.
A lot. What is that from? I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. Jim Carrey says it, so probably like Ace Ventura or Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. You're right. You're right.
Or any one of those movies they came out with between like 1992 and 1995 that was a timeless classic. Yeah.
Yes, although not so timeless. It definitely shows. Like I watched Dumb and Dumber recently. And I'm like, I remember it being much funnier. Anyways, moving on. We got Heroes Reborn Comics. Look at this. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Movie Night limited to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 3D movie posters and Guardians of the Galaxy Lego variant Marvel movie giveaway comics. Snatch a couple of Dungeons and Dragons mini posters as well. Let's see if everyone I heard from is right about how good this movie is. Those are pretty cool right there, I have to say. I can't wait. I got the first Guardians poster over there. I love that poster. I got it framed. It's right there. See it?
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah, right there. How about this? How about Joe? You show us your third fresh get of the week.
I will. It is actually a little two-parter for you because this came in the same collection and they have a little bit of opposite news recently. We're going to start off with the bad news. We'll go to the good news. Bad news. Well, it's okay. These books relate, and you know what? We're going to talk about them. Bad news, there's a writer's strike right now. Yeah. And one of the things that has been announced recently, or at least rumored, is that the Blade movie, the MCU, seems to be on hiatus, which is pretty unfortunate for me because I picked up this book in a collection this week. This is Tomb of Dracula 10, first appearance of Blade. First time ever picking this book up in the wild in a collection. Was very happy to see it in there, and this was the big book in the collection. This was the majority, not majority of the value, but a good enough chunk of the value that this was kind of the make or break book. Very happy to have this. It probably is just staying in my personal collection because the one that's currently in there is lower grade than this. So I'll be keeping this. I'll be selling the lower grade one, but I don't know if I'm going to sell it right now because of this unfortunate news that movie is being postponed yet again. Who knows? But with that bad news, like I said,
here's the deal. It's going to happen.
Oh, it's going to happen.
It's just going to be delayed. It's going to be delayed. Hopefully they learn from the previous writer's strike. Yeah. And they work together to find a solution, because this doesn't affect just the writers, the actors, the producers, but it affects the production assistants, it affects the makeup artists, it affects the assistant camera operators, everybody you can think of, wardrobe, everybody. So it's a big deal to have a strike like this, and really hope it gets settled soon, because a lot of people lost a lot of money, and right now it's not a good time for something like this to be happening. Anyways, I digress. Next up, we got Goonish Lurker.
You just cut right in the middle of that and didn't let me do part 2. We did the bad news about Blade. We didn't do the good news yet.
I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry.
Good news, man.
Joe, I'm sorry.
We told Joe! News. We didn't tell them the good news. What are they going to think about us? That we're curmudgeons?
We're not curmudgeons.
Good news. I'll get to this. This was in the same collection, and it's very, very interesting that it was in the same collection, because this is a Marvel book from the early 70s, the Bronze Age, and this right here is a late Copper Age indie book. Well, kind of indie. Epic, I think, was owned by Marvel, but this right here is Akira #1, another book that I found for the first time ever in the wild. And we got good news about this recently. Taika Waititi, am I pronouncing his name wrong? I don't know.
No, you did a good job.
I did. There we go. He had to put his work on this movie on hold because he was doing Thor: Love and Thunder, which was not good. But let's hope he does a better job with Akira, because he is back moving forward with that project. Hope it happens. There's my Akira #1 that came in the same collection as that first Blade. I'm going to have a video about that collection up this week, so you got a little preview there.
That is outstanding. And
it is the first print there, Mark. First print.
I apologize profusely for getting the bad. Anyways, I'm so sorry, but that was your third.
I forgive you personally. I can't speak for everyone else. They might hold some grudges, but personally, I can find it in my heart to forgive you.
Thank you. I needed that. I absolutely needed that. All right, moving on though. Goonish Lurker again. Here we go. What do you got, Goonish Lurker? What do we got? Finally get to post these. A few weeks back, I went to my LCS to pick up my holds, and they were having an auction. I put down $30 as a pre-bid because I couldn't stay. Turns out that was enough to walk away with 2 Spawn #9s. One is a direct and the other is a newsstand. I'm thinking of a custom slab with EGS for sure. Ooh. A newsstand, first appearance of Angela. That is a great get. Here's something interesting, and it's probably out there, but I'm just wondering how it went down that Marvel acquired this character of Angela and brought her. You know what I mean? It's just weird. You never see that like in modern books.
Well, since it was a Image book, it was creator owned. Todd McFarlane drew that cover, but Neil Gaiman wrote that story. So, it went to the courts, and it was decided that Neil Gaiman created the character, was writing the story. That now they figured that Neil Gaiman had been put in at least 51% of that character and had the rights to it. And then, therefore, he went on and just sold it to Marvel because he didn't want to use it for anything. And that's how it happened.
But how does that happen? How does that discussion, like, hey, I got this character. You guys interested in, and why would Marvel be interested in that too? And I don't know. It's fascinating. I'm sure we could find the nitty gritty details. Again, anyways. Moving on. We got Neil Floyd. Ooh. I don't think we've seen Neil Floyd in a while. No. Where are we? Fresh from the comic shop, freshly signed by interior artist Justin Mason today at my local comic shop. And finally, this guy I do believe he's in the finals. Check. The Collector Without Fear with another gem. This is outstanding. God. Comic book adding crew, you begged and begged and begged for it. So here's some more Daredevil heat. I've been on the hunt for this variant of Daredevil number 612 for a while now. This issue marked the end of Volume 5 and Charles Soule's run that was nothing short of masterful. The cover features Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio from the next Netflix series, soon to reprise their roles on Disney+. There aren't a ton of these available out there at the moment, and I'm sure the price will be on the rise as we get closer to the premiere of Born Again. So when I was able to grab this last week, it was like a kid on Christmas morning, and I got a shiny new Pike while everyone else got socks because nothing could compare. I love this. Again, he did it again. I have to check to see if this is. I don't remember. I mean, that's just fantastic. Please, Joe, stretch as they say. Stretch.
What were you checking?
I need to see if he is a final. If he's in the finals.
Yeah, so I just want to say that I had that book. I had that book in a 9.
He is in the finals, by the way. Sorry, so this is not. He's not eligible.
I had that Netflix variant cover in a 9.8, and I sold it in a flame sale. And I honestly, almost every day since selling it, have regretted selling it. I got $250 for it in a 9.8. Solid price for a modern variant. But at the same time, I wish I had that book back.
Yeah. All right. So we have responsibilities because we do not have a guest.
We don't.
So before we're gonna think it over. I mean, I'm just gonna write a little something down.
I'm putting in the algorithm.
Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Put that algorithm together as I show you my last fresh scat of the week. I think you'll be proud of me here, though, Joe. I think you'll like this one. Okay. This one right here. I wanted this because I think this character looks so cool. He looks like a DC character from like a Kirby run, like a Dark Side. And there's rumor that he will be in the MCU soon. This is the first appearance of Terrax the Tamer. Fantastic Four number 211. And this is Terrax right there. I'm sure you all know of him. Another cool thing about this book, John Byrne does the layouts here, and I love me some John Byrne. So this was a win for me. I got it cheap. I got it for $20, and it's in really good condition, I would say. Absolutely. So very happy to get that, people. Very happy to get that one. Joe.
Yes.
We got some things to do.
We do. This is a tough one. This is a tough one because there were a lot of solid submissions this week.
Everybody, we love that we had a lot of submissions this week. Like this was a big week for us. I don't know why. Maybe Free Comic Book Day. We got a winner, by the way. Brendan Riley, Jeff Rock in the supremely underrated Amazing Spider-Man movie in the background. Here's the deal. This one was okay. The second one was horrendous. Josh's Comics question: can we submit a Fresh from the Comic Shop as a video? We're gonna say no to that. It's a lot of work to it's first of all, it's a lot of work to do Fresh from the Comic Shop and present it in this way. Adding a video on top of that, it makes a lot, it's not hard, but again, it adds more work on top of that. So we would appreciate not receiving a video.
Right. But subsequently, if you do want to do a video for the show for something like you did earlier, and we've put a couple videos in recently, something you can always talk to us about. We might not include it. We can't include everything, but video of you doing the Comic Book Canon discount card. A couple people have done that so far. Do it. Yeah. Do it. Viewer content. We love it.
We will put you up. Yeah, we will absolutely put you on the show if it's appropriate and it's kind. Well, no, actually, it doesn't need to be kind. But anyways, yeah, we'll do that. But it's really hard. Fresh from the Comic Shop takes a lot of work to do this. People are asking, can we email it? No, that's yet another place we have to go. Hello. Another place we have to go. Anyways, don't want to complain to you guys. We love doing it, but it is a lot of work and takes a lot of time. So anyways,
we got to pick a winner.
We do. I don't know.
I jotted down an entire 5 names that I thought were in the running.
Okay. I did 3. And one of them is not. One of them is just not eligible. I'm just going to get this out of the way right here. That is again, let's just show it again.
I didn't write that down because it's not eligible.
He's not eligible, but it's outstanding. I'm going to say one right here. You want me to start?
All right, let's see if I have it on my list.
Real Caleb Leland. I just like what he did. And
I
again,
did.
for me, I like seeing your guys' faces. Like, I like that. Like, I like to see who you people are. You're more than just this avatar name or little image. So again, I like the colors too. So I'd say well done.
Yeah, that was the first one that I wrote down.
What's your second one then?
I had a couple. So two of them were very similar to each other because they were both Jim Lee books from the Hush run, and that was Pope of Chillytown and Cosmic Toby. They both had, Pope of Chillytown had the second print with the really awesome statue, to go along with it, and Cosmic Toby. Yeah, a very similar, book. Also, a book from the Hush run, also with some other media around it, which I thought was really cool. So those two stood out. Glopple stood out to me.
Yes,
Blazing Elm, because it's a very unique.
Yes,
book.
yes.
That definitely double checks the unique mark, being a smaller creator owned book, and then. Of course, I had to go with Josh's comics with that awesome mask.
Okay,
that one was in there. So, did you have any of those on your list?
Okay, so I had Pope. I didn't have Raising Elm, which there's the first one right there. But I did have this one right here, and I want to make a push for it. It's Josh's comics, to be honest with you.
I was leaning towards Josh's comics just because this is such an iconic cover. This run is so iconic. Frank Miller's so iconic, and the fact that this is a comic book accurate mask. We've got it lined up with the cover, and not just that, but we have Josh taking part in the picture as well.
Exactly. I think that's I love it.
This really checks all the boxes here, and love to see it.
So we're in agreement here. Josh, you're moving on to the semifinals. Semifinals.
Listen, one day you got to come over. I got my drum set downstairs.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I got guitar, bass. I got some microphones. We're gonna hit some record buttons. We're gonna lay out some Ask Joe tracks, some semifinals tracks, and we'll have to put them into the show here and there.
We got to get Chris in there because he produces and spits rhymes too. So but
it's hot fire.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great collaboration. So Josh's comics, you are moving on to the semifinals. I don't remember if we. We'll figure it out who you're going to get. Maybe it's next week. I'm not sure.
This is actually our third for the month of May already, which
I think we take the last week of May off. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. You don't have to worry about it because we're going to be back next week. But this has been a fun show, everybody. We love the way the community is continuing to grow. Chris, myself, Joseph, we love it. We love you guys joining us each and every Sunday night. This has been a great day for me because the Sixers won. This is a great show. I got some cool books today. I don't know, Joe. How's your day been, real quick?
Honestly, I played 4 rounds of miniature golf yesterday and 4 rounds of miniature golf today. Or it's actually only 3 today, so 7 total rounds. And that is on top of being up at 6 a.m. to hit up yard sales and flea markets. I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed, but this show definitely kept me awake. I have such a good time here every Sunday, hanging out with all of you, tolerating Jeff. Sometimes getting to hang with Chris. That's awesome. When he's here, it kind of cuts the tension with Jeff. But
we
we don't get along for keeping me awake these last couple hours.
Yes. Again, you guys make this so worth it. We love the connections we've made. We love getting creative and having fun. Please send us, again, have fun with these things. I know we joke and stuff, but get us a video of your discount card. Get people interested in joining Fresh from the Comic Shop, submitting there, or props or flops. We do it because we love the engagement and interacting with you guys, not only tonight but all throughout the week on the social medias. Can we get a round of applause for, what does he say?
Other submissions.
Yeah, of course, man. Absolutely. Props on all you guys. Props for everybody Because again, we appreciate you guys sending us this. This segment wouldn't be possible if we didn't have anything to show off of yours and Tony, sponsoring it, EGS Comics. So, anyways, so that's all for tonight. We're gonna figure out another fantastic show for next week. But until then, y'all better be good to each other and good to yourselves. Peace.